we might see Zakai Zeigler back in Knoxville playing basketball again this year. Earlier this week, Zakai Zeigler filed lawsuit against the NCAA looking for a 5th year of eligibility. He played 4 seasons at Tennessee. The lawsuit mentions Spire Sports and the projection that he could make $2 to $4 million playing college basketball this upcoming season. He references that other athletes they've redshirted had 5 years to make money. He had 4 because he played all 4 seasons. What do you think? Will he be successful? What do you think about the lawsuit itself? As there is still the question, will we soon see 5 to play 5? That rule could change in the somewhat near future. Will, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that Zakai Zeigler, I think that he would get the injunction because he's right. Where else is he going to make money playing basketball? I don't know if he's going to do it overseas, right? But if he comes back to college basketball, probably $2, $3, $4 million. And so I think he's going to win. I think it's a really fair argument. I do think we will get the rule this summer that 5 to play 5. That's what you're going to get. I think it happens this summer. I know schools have been setting themselves up for that to be the rule.
There were players at the end of this most recent basketball season that they went ahead and entered the transfer portal without having eligibility remaining in case a 5th year came to them.
Yeah, so I think the expectation, I do believe that will happen, and I think Zakai is going to win this. I think he's going to be back at Tennessee, and I think that's going to be very good for Tennessee.
I think that could be connected to the settlement, because they clearly are invested in the rosters for and players and how teams are getting to those rosters. So 5 for 5, I think would make it cleaner and try to maybe even limit some of the movement in college athletics overall. It's a matter of what kind of precedent that they want to set. Because if the NCAA does this, then it opens the door for a whole lot more of this. So if they do put in the 5 for 5, so then someone sues the NCAA and says,
or
6.
Or 8 or 10.
Right. So it really, if you go down that route and he wins this, he could really be opening things up unless you have some sort of a collective bargaining agreement to say you're not going to sue us and here are the rules for it.
This is the number of, that's the only way to get this is to collectively bargain. And this is what Danny White and Don DePlamo were talking about on X earlier this week, is that you can't just limit what an adult citizen in the United States, tell them you don't get to make money doing the thing you do anymore.
Well, pro sports have limits. They have salary caps and budgets, but they do it because it's collectively bargain.
Right. And they have an antitrust exemption that allows certain portions of those things to be collectively bargained. The Tennessee side of this, though, to me, is the thing that's the most interesting.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think Tennessee's going to be, I think they probably become one of your favorite, if not your favorite, to win the national championship. I think that it will be the best team in Tennessee basketball history, especially compared to the other talent that's out there. There isn't a Stephen Castle, UConn this year, Zach Edey, Purdue coming up this year. And if you add Zakai Zeigler, I mean, and Gainey most likely as well.
Yeah, so Jordan Gainey, I have to imagine, would want to come back as well. We'll see if he joins or adds on in suing as well. But Jordan Gainey, he would be in the same boat of having an extra year if Zakai is able to get it as well. So I would think that he comes back. They also have brought in Jacoby Gillespie, point guard from Maryland. What do you think about how that looks? You play Gillespie off the ball, both of them off the ball at times. What do you think that looks like?
I think it'll be fine because Zakai played off the ball when Dalton Connect was here. He played off the ball for Chaz Lanier for a lot of times. So I think
freshman Kennedy Chandler and Zakai were both.
I think they'll be fine. You get worried about switches. Now you have a lot of length. You probably have to go with more length if you have both Gillespie and Zakai on the floor at the same time because they're both small. Everyone's going to look for switches and then try to back your guy down. But you feel really good about Tennessee's chances to make a Final Four, if not win the whole thing, if you get Gainey and Zakai back.
Well, they currently have one roster spot. So does Gainey come back similar to Josiah Jordan-James did, kind of in that walk-on role?
I think there are two things. One, if this happens, they could expand the rosters.
They could add the House settlement
from 13 to 15.
Yeah, right. It's supposed to go to 15.
Yeah, so that I think Tennessee's anticipating that. In fact. But also, Josiah Jordan-James, he did plan to walk on, then a spot open, he got the scholarship.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
if Zakai's numbers are correct, they can figure out the paying tuition part as well.
Yeah, and I think an already versatile roster would be even more versatile. And so, how do you manage all that? I mean, that would be tough. But I agree with you from a talent standpoint. No one, I think, would be more loaded than Tennessee.
I mean, you look at it. You have the 5-star freshman that you can have playing the wing. You have Boswell who can play the wing. You have, 4 good options on the block. So you have a level of depth that I don't know that Tennessee's ever had in a basketball team. If you can bring Zakai, especially if you bring Zakai and Gainey, well then you have Gainey and Ament both on the floor at the same time. Boswell backing them up. 4 guys legit on the block that can play for you, 2 point guards. My gosh, I mean, this team is loaded at that point if you bring them back.
It would be a reversal from the conversation this past season where the roster was limited in terms of numbers that were available and thin in the front court. This would probably be the deepest they've been in the front court.
Right.
And they would have to figure out minutes, how to manage minutes for guys that probably belong on the floor.
Ogbar coming back, Casey, the transfer from Vanderbilt. What do you get in J.P. Estrella coming off of the injury? Kate Phillips, who might play a little bit more on the wing. Yeah, it's a lot of versatility, a lot of good players.
And you're right, managing who gets minutes where, how you get the minutes, making sure everybody stays healthy and gets fed the way they want to get fed, that probably becomes the biggest challenge for Rick Barnes this year.
And before we wrap this up, other schools would have the chance to bring players back too. So we don't know what other rosters would look like. But if you add Gainey and Zakai back to the roster, I agree. I think it's one of the top in the SEC, which means you're one of the top contenders nationally probably as well. Also, believe Zakai would come back to Tennessee. I would be stunned to see him enter the portal and go somewhere else because he could command a lot of money
He could.
on the market. Rodney Rice got $3 million at USC as an example.
Right.
But I'd be surprised, really surprised to see Rick Barnes say, thanks for what you did, Zakai. Play your 5th year somewhere
Well,
else.
also, I think for Zakai, I think he's smart enough to realize I can make money the rest of my life if I finish things off with Tennessee. Kind of what Quinn Ewers, why he didn't go somewhere else, is the same reason Zakai would come here.
Yep, very good. So we'll see what happens there. But Zakai Zeigler trying to come back to Tennessee for a 5th year.